Waters beyond fables and years, moving on.
We're catching up with Forrest once again here from the Molasses Flood to learn a little bit. Well, can you tell us what kind of things have you put into the build that you have here at E3 in the Flame in the Flood?
I think a lot of the stuff, since you've seen it last, a lot of the changes have really been revolving around usability. So like we've redone the UI, we're making stuff a lot clearer. We've been adding more items, like more things that you can build. Trying to think of some of the other big stuff. We've actually done a lot of reworking of like how locations are built and how the river's built. So the experience, if you can survive long enough, is actually much more complete. I think the last time you saw it, it was capped at a 10-minute demo. We're just letting people play at this point. A lot don't make it much further than 10 minutes at this point because it's pretty rough on the first run. But yeah, like this is a build where I could sit down and probably play for 45 minutes to an hour pretty consistently.
I guess you got to get to that point and to be able to feel yourself like how the game sort of holds up for longer play sessions and sort of get the feel for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, the last time we showed it, it was very much like we just wanted to see how people were reacting to just the general sense in like the first few minutes. And now we want to see like how do people react when they actually die in a way that's legitimate for the game as opposed to the demo timer and what's the reaction and whatnot. And it's been really positive. Like I've had people playing multiple times. I had one person recently play through 4 times in a row and then come back later in the night to play more, like, which is good, which is telling me that we're at least starting to hit the point that we want to, where it's compelling and you want to keep running through it over and over again and doing better than you did the last time.
I mean, it is that kind of game where you want to have like, after your first time you want to play the second time, but the third time you want to play even more. Like that's the kind of loop you want to have in it.
Yeah, that's definitely the hope. You know, I mean, I think, like, I wouldn't say that we're fully there yet. We've got a long way to go and a lot of features to add in and whatnot. But my hope is that we're going to be going out very soon to our Kickstarter backers, and that's going to be, you know, a little over 7,000 people who are providing us with feedback and with data just in terms of how they're playing and how much they're playing and how they're dying and so on and so forth. That'll really help us sort of change that experience. And also, I'm really looking forward to reevaluating like our feature list, what we're planning to do based on the feedback that we get. Because, you know, I love all my own ideas, of course, but I'm really happy to throw them away if people, you know, provide better ones, or if I see evidence that one of these ideas or a feature that we want to put in is not worth it or not going to be, you know, beneficial to the overall experience.
Yeah, sometimes you need that support from someone else to help you kill your darlings.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that term, but yeah, absolutely. Like previously I worked at a big studio and we would have lots and lots of, you know, focus testers and usability tests and lots of peers that would be playing things and lots of feedback. With a team of 6, we don't have that, so being able to kind of go to a wider audience to get that information is going to be really interesting. And it's actually very different too, because even though we had lots of testers and whatnot, when I worked on a big game, we're talking tens, maybe hundreds over the life of the game. Like, we're going to be looking at thousands immediately, and that's before even going into like a Steam early access or something like that.
And also a benefit is that it's not a job for them. This is something they signed up for because they wanted to make the game happen. So there's a little bit of it's a different style of tester, if you will, and perhaps not saying that testers aren't passionate about their job, but maybe it's a little bit different, the kind of feedback you get from a backer compared to a tester.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, a lot of times what you get when you're working on a big project is the people that come in to test it, not as quality assurance, but as like focus testers, they're actually, you know, paid $50 in pizza, you know, to play a video game for a few hours. So they're excited and they want to play a game, but they're also getting paid a bit for it and they don't know what the game is and they're not specifically excited about it. So our Kickstarter backers are people who are actually really vested in what we do. Like they've already made a vote for us, many months ago at this point. Then, I hope that we get really great feedback out of it. I expect we're going to get a lot.
So we did get a little bit of a glimpse of the Flame in the Flood at the Expo's press conference. What was that like to sort of be featured on that stage?
It was pretty exciting. I mean, it was really cool. It's just one of those things where if I had known a year ago, that I would be here doing this sort of thing, or the event where we are right now, I would not have guessed that. It felt like starting a small team in a small studio was like a huge long shot, and it's really competitive. There's a huge amount of great stuff happening in the indie space right now. But it's cool to just be able to see even like snippets of footage going out to, I don't know, millions of people. I have no idea what the audience is. That's very cool. We've done, I got to do E3 Live earlier, which was very cool, like a couple 100,000 people seeing like an interview. And it's kind of surreal because I did one where I was sandwiched in between the folks from Gearbox talking about Battleborn and the folks from Rocksteady talking about Batman. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I guess I'm just sort of like a palate cleanser or something in between these guys. But it's a very cool feeling. It's awesome to sort of have an ability to be in a showcase like that. It's really exciting.
I hate to ask you because it sounds like you're at a stage where there might be a lot of work to do left or not as much work to do. But do you sort of, in your head, do you have sort of a date in mind, or?
Not that we're willing to talk about yet. I mean, we're going to do what we always have done. We've all made games for a bunch of years, which is you make the work fit the time that you've got. We don't want to do this. We don't want to make the game go on indefinitely, which I think could be actually really unhealthy for building a game, because if you always feel like you can just test something forever, you're never going to make hard calls and hard decisions. So, we're not super tight on time, but I know there's going to be hard calls that we need to make in the future, but that's part of our jobs as, game developers. We got to make those calls when the time comes. So
that's a sometime answer, I guess. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.